Hey, you beautiful souls. This is a little bit different of a video today. I am been getting a lot of feedback from people that they wanted to see more, I guess, kind of solo content, just my thoughts on things. And over this past week, I actually, you know, uh, heard this interview with actually a football player, Aaron Rodgers, on a the Pat McAfee show, and it stuck out to me. And honestly, I've been kind of meditating on it, and just decided to maybe do a breakdown of it. And if people like this, or it doesn't have to be YouTube videos or whatever, if they just kind of like me, you know, freestyling on whatever's come to my head, then I'll do more of this. But pretty much they were talking to him about what's different this season. Obviously, he's kind of an older dude, and he didn't have the best seasons before. And this season, it's been a lot better. So what I'm gonna do is kind of play some of the clip of him, and then kind of give you how what resonates with me, and kind of what we can learn from just this brief interview that he had. So I'll go ahead and cue that up.
I've been a lot happier the last year. Like my life is my perspective, my mentals. Um, it's been a really good year. This I've said it before. The show has been so much fun on Tuesdays, and but the perspective
Yeah, for
that
sure.
I've kind of taken to the field and lived every day with, I think has allowed me to just be a little happier, and shows up on the field.
So I'm gonna stop it right there. He is talking about how he's been doing a lot of things off the field, right? He's been working on himself, and that's influencing things everywhere else, right? And he kind of goes a little bit more in depth to that, but I love that that's what he attributes to sort of his success and why he's happy playing this year. The next little section is going to be what you hear from people, like whenever the few people, when I said I was going to be traveling, that were like, "Oh, what the fuck, you're gonna do?" I'll just play it. So,
Now, I guess how worried would you be if you had this same mindset, you had the same approach, and you guys were garbage and you stunk this year? Would you be able to stick with
right.
it?
So there's always going to be people that are like, "Well, would you really be this positive if things didn't just somehow work out for you?" Or there's a lot of people that they look at life that way, right? They look at it like judging everything based on the results. And I can't say I blame them. I do that from time to time too. But he's saying what has really impacted and mattered to him, and that's how I can just relate. I've heard these people that don't understand and are so quick to say the negative things, right? And he has this perfect rebuttal, so I'm gonna let him say his piece and then pause it again.
I love you bringing that positivity age. See, I think you're missing the whole point of it. It's perspective, my friend, and it's not a winning cures all. It's not a they drafted my replacement and this is how I play mindset. See, that's where people are wrong. That's why they don't understand the attitude of gratitude and a positive mindset all the time. It doesn't have to take a crescendo moment of somebody else doing something to you.
Hmm.
It's when you take ownership of your own life and start working on yourself and loving yourself and changing your own perspective. That's when true change, I believe, happens.
So, God, what a fucking beautiful 30 seconds that was, right? The attitude of gratitude, the change of perspective, how when you take responsibility, right? You take responsibility for what you can control, so to speak. And don't judge everything by the results. We often can get ourselves into holes really quickly. I know for myself, like if I judged myself on I look back to my time as a musician on how many people actually listen to my song or whatever, I might have stopped doing it. If I mean, I feel like most people that we think are successful or that achieve this spot, they have countless failures, right? For a long time, I've had the mantra of failing at life successfully, right? How everything we do, whether it's success or failure, is propelling us forward if we look at it like that, right? I make mistakes all the time. I'm constantly trying to do better, to be better. Um, and I can't focus on the results. A lot of times in AA they'd say, like, let God take care of the results. We just keep putting in the footwork, right? Whatever resonates with you, it's that kind of idea of like, I'm not in control of what I'm not in control of. if I focus on myself, if I have this attitude of appreciating what I do have and what I can do, the other things are going to work out, right?
Now, some of us, and we've all been there, where there's been some sort of galvanizing moment for us, or some awakening, some moment of what's the word?
Enlightenment.
Enlightenment, epiphany. Like, there's all been those moments. But for me, the true growth has happened when I said nothing that happens to me has to affect my reactions. My reactions are my own. Things that happen to me don't have to influence my life in a negative way.
Again, so much wisdom in this. We often, like myself included, get caught up with what people say, criticisms, and I think that other people have control over my emotions. And I learned a long time ago that they don't. I give if people have control over my emotions, I gave them that power, right? And you might be thinking of some ideas in your head, but I found out through a lot of work on myself, through a lot of meditation and everything, that that was the truth, regardless of the situation. Even at the core level, if I chose to participate in this, in this relationship. Now, obviously, stuff is as maybe a child or something you wouldn't be in control of, but as of right now, I don't see anything wrong with that. I think that I definitely always want to focus on not allowing other people to influence my serenity, right? Or with my what I have going on. People are going to be people. Things are going to happen, good or bad, however you want to judge them. That's kind of none of my business. I got to keep in line with what my what my intentions and everything are.
And when that perspective changed, I realized I was in control, complete control of my own attitude, perspective, routine, enjoyment, joy, happiness, love, all those different things. And that's been the biggest weight off my shoulders. Not any draft pick that happened or any end of the tunnel epiphanies. It's just been really working on myself and changing my perspective. And I think it's really helped me out this year, not just on the field, but with my leadership and my approach and my perspective.
So, for those of you that don't know, Aaron Rodgers has been playing for quite a while, and this year they drafted a new quarterback who's inevitably going to take over the franchise when he leaves. And he hasn't had the best years for the last couple, but he's been doing a lot of stuff as he's talking about, as you can hear, just in how he approaches everything that's been changing, and he's not focusing on all that shit. He's won a Super Bowl before. He's just trying to do the best he can in his life, and because of that, because he has this, like he was talking about his perspective change, everything else is kind of falling into place. And I never used to really believe that. I remember hearing that in especially like in AA, they talk about, when we straighten out spiritually, things fall in line mentally and physically. And it's hard to really believe that that's true. But I found it true time and time again. The more that I continue to focus on the direction that I'm heading, things just like money seems to come from the sky. I get people in my life that I could never dream to network with, right? I attract these things. And it's really one of those things that it sounds like bullshit until you have an experience with it. And you kind of can't have an experience with it until you put in the work. And it's that, kind of catch-22.
I mean, I'm getting called on to give speeches after games now.
So that's the thing too, that I thought was just a nice little snippet, is because of this change, like he's been in the league for 15 years or so. I'm not the biggest football aficionado, but he's been in there for a while, and it wasn't until recently that they decided, hey, you know what? Like, you're more than just the quarterback. Like, we want you to share this with the rest of the team. Like, that we think that you can be that actual leader more than just the play caller or whatever. Like, we think that this power, this when you have this mindset, it's so attractive to everybody that's around you. It's infectious. People want this. People need this. And the more of us that do it, the more we can all rub off on each other and continue to cycle that positivity. So I love that it kind of threw him off, like, oh, these people, want me to share, this. And I'll leave the last clip, and he's kind of elaborating on that.
I talk about how important it is to have the right mindset, to visualize things, to manifest the things that you want. Some guys might be thinking, "What's this old guy talking about?" But I do believe there's a lot of power in setting intentions to what you want. It's the same thing as goals. It's just more of a energy focus. You know, it's not just some, like, a lot of times goals I think are maybe off in the distance and they're too lofty or unrealistic. And it's kind of it's goal setting with um, a super energetic focus, I think.
So he finishes it off with that goal setting with a super energetic focus. That's what setting intentions are, right? I'm constantly in a position where I'm looking at what intentions I'm setting for the future. What seeds am I planting right now that I'm going to water and that are going to come to fruition someday? You know, the timeline is not on me. You know, things happen whenever they're going to happen. But if I continue to manifest these things, it's been my experience that they do happen, right? Um, I can tell you that this time last year, I was there's no fucking way that I would think that I would be, you know, talking to a few hundred people via, you know, YouTube or podcast or whatever, in living in Sweden with with these people, and I've traveled all around, and I mean, there's no way. But I remember having these conversations with some people where I knew that I wanted to do something more, and I spent a lot of time asking myself what it is that I really wanted, and setting that intention that I really wanted to connect with people, that I wanted to share, I feel like I have something to share, and that I want to get it out there regardless of the results, right? I know it's something that's good for me and that's going to lead me to the next step in my journey, right? So that's the clip on here. I hope you guys found it as interesting as I did. Again, I'm not a huge sports guy or anything like that, but this just stuck out to me, and I wanted to share it with everybody. And again, if you like this, um, please please let me know. And if you want to hear, you know, maybe what intentions and stuff look like for me, I can give you like a more detailed idea. And maybe I do that on a future video. I don't know. Um, but again, thanks so much for taking the time. I love you guys. Have the best day.